Meeting of the Monroe Township Combined Agenda and Regular Meeting is called to order on this date of April 4th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Would we all please rise for the salute to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. The roll call, please.
Councilman Charles DePiero.
Here.
Councilwoman Elizabeth Schneider. Here. Councilwoman Rupa P. Siegel.
Here.
Council Vice President Terrence Van Zura.
Here.
Council President Miriam Cohen.
Here. Would you please read the Sunshine Law into the record?
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice has been provided by the following. 1, posted on the bulletin boards within the municipal building on December 29th, 2021, and remains posted at that location for public inspection. 2, printed in the Home News Tribune and noticed to the Cranberry Press on December 30th, 2021. 3, posted on the Monroe Township website. And 4, sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. In accordance with Chapter 3, Section 17 of the Monroe Township Code, public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes unless further time is granted by the Council President.
Thank you. We have a number of proclamations this evening. Seymour Nussenbaum Day. He was a soldier in the Ghost Army on March 26, 2022. National Arab American Heritage Month on April 20th. Autism Awareness Month, again in April. World Autism Awareness Day, April 2nd. National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, April 10th through the 16th. Claire Blumenfeld celebrated her 101st birthday on April 22nd. And we also are having 2022 You Drive, You Text, You Pay. I said that correctly, Chief? Distracted Driving Crackdown for the entire month of April. And of course, Arbor Day on April 29th, 2022. It is my pleasure at this moment to turn this over to our mayor, Stephen DeLina, for a presentation to Monroe Township Emergency Medical Services folks.
Thank you, Madam Council President. Appreciate it. First of all, I'd like to recognize our Chief of Police, Mike Viennas, for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the staff and the administration, mostly to the council. Just nice to see everybody.
We're real.
It's always wonderful. Though there's a gentleman sitting in the front. Is there a guy who's been on a video recorded for the Mayor DeLina show? I think he's over there. If you want his autograph, I think he's giving them out for $5 each. So just wanted to make a note of that. So we're here for our EMS appreciation. Wow, that's large. I'll probably get emotional in regards to this. We've all been through, we've all experienced things that we never thought we'd ever go through, which is the pandemic. All of us have had personal experiences, have been in touch with perhaps some tragedy during that time. But that overarching appreciation for those who helped during the pandemic, especially what our EMS services did during COVID. They answered the call. There was never a hesitation. When the call was put in, they went through that door. Things that we never thought of, but they did it. And my friends, they deserve a round of appreciation and thanks. And I think that was just very important to say, because we're all very proud of our EMS services. We tout the over 11,000 calls that you make annually, the care that you provide, the professionalism that you provide, the services that our services, the person who started it all, Judy Olbrich, back in the 70s, again, we all know the stories about, her and her station wagon going out for the service calls. And look at us now. Look at how far we've come. And again, that's a combination, that's that team effort, that's the decision makers here, and the professionalism and services you bring that come together, that we can celebrate that. And this is a time of celebration. So I'd like to call up the leadership, Judy Olbrich and Rich Morris, to come on up, please. We're presenting you with these shirts. It's a small, small token of appreciation. But we just want to say we love you so much. Thank you. Rich, you want a hug too, or sit there? It's all good, it's all good. So, for picture purposes, we want to hold one out. Judy, why don't you hold the back of one of them, how beautiful they are. I assume everyone's going to get a copy. I'm going to get it, a shirt as well.
Yes, ma'am.
I know, I'm all done talking here. I know you're here for the stars of the show, so I'm going to hand it over to Rich. Thank you.
Steve, knock down her mic. Help him.
What?
Never mind, she did. Louder.
Alan, can you turn that on for her,
Turn
please?
it on for her.
I can't thank you enough for showing the appreciation to these guys. I love them from the bottom of my heart. They have made my dream come true, but without your support, none of us could be here today. As the mayor, inferred back with the station wagon, it was a horrendous battle to get this squad off the ground, much less to keep it rolling all these years, to the point where the town council in the past wouldn't even give us gas money, and we had to put our own pockets. We kept it going for the first 2 years we were in service. And as slowly time progressed, more and more support grew. But, each time a political regime changed, we get scared, and is it going to continue? But all of you have come through with such support for everything. I do get emotional. I'm sorry. I really do. It's 52 years ago it started, and it's been a long, long haul. And each and every one of these kids in this room today, you can't dramatize enough what they went through with COVID. Some of them had to sleep in basements. Some of them slept in garages. Some of them weren't allowed to go home at all. Some of the public rejected us because they were afraid of we were going to contaminate them. It was really, really hard on them emotionally, and to have you appreciate them is got to be touching all their hearts as much as it is mine, to do that. And watching them grow, there's not anyone in here who's not smarter than I'll ever be, because they put in so many hours of training and so much dedication. And through Richie, and he has taken over the operations end as well as the deputy director to me. He has done a phenomenal job of the scheduling and the uniting of the people, and I don't think there's too many people here that are unhappy with him. But we won't ask you to take a poll. So, but they are a very, very dedicated team. There are a lot more of them that couldn't come tonight because, as you know, we are a per diem-based company. So a lot of the per diems have full-time jobs other places, and they couldn't make it tonight. But everybody was more than a little surprised and very, very happy about that you care about them enough to show this. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart of giving them the recognition they really, really deserve.
I just want to say thank you to the council for acknowledging everybody, and to all my fellow coworkers. Just thank you. You guys are the ones that make it easy, and honored to be working side by side with you guys moving forward.
Thank you all. It is my personal and professional honor to be here this evening when we honor our EMS. For those of you who don't know, I am by profession a public health nurse, and have been for a way long time. And as such, I have had the distinct honor and privilege of working with folks from EMS throughout my career. Some of you do know because I have said it before, but I knew Judy's name long before I moved to Monroe. I would attend state meetings and I would hear about the EMS program that exists in Monroe Township, New Jersey. So when I met her, I said, "You are meeting a person who has started an initiative that resonates throughout our state. That does not happen very often. So you are part of a tradition of excellence. I have had the personal experience of utilizing your services during the years I have lived here in Monroe, and they are, as everyone has said, professionally delivered, responsibly delivered by people that I'm proud to call residents of the town where I live. You are special and the work you do is special, and you will always have our support because, as the mayor says, you are an important part of the network and what makes Monroe the wonderful town it is in which to live. I'm going to ask my council colleagues, as I'm sure they would like to say a few words. I will begin with the council vice president, Mr. Van Zura. I know that. Don't be so shy.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you. You know, sometimes bad things happen, and when they happen, it helps you appreciate the good that's out there. We've all gone through this COVID crisis for the last couple of years, and it's been taxing, it's been difficult, it's been mentally and physically straining, and a lot of us have lost loved ones and others, friends and people that are close to us. But it did give us a sense of appreciation, and it was a sense of appreciation for our first responders. You know, you folks in particular, the nurses, the doctors, the emergency rooms, you guys are out there on the front line doing that. You guys are the real heroes out there. It's not the sports stars, it's not the movie people, the actors and the actresses and the Grammys and everything else. It's you guys that are out there day to day, and God knows you don't get, you know, anywhere near compensated what you deserve for what you do, almost like teachers don't get compensated. But you know what? We appreciate it, and that's all we can do is tell you how much we really, really do appreciate you. So thank you again for everything. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Betty Schneider, Ward 1.
I can speak from experience. My husband, when he got ill, I used to have to call lift assistance because he would fall. And I cannot tell you and thank you enough for the kindness. And you were so professional. I can also speak because my neighbors, I live in an adult community, so they have used your services, and they have nothing but praise. I think it's the way you handle the people, the kindness, and you are a professional. You know what you're doing, and that's important. So I cannot thank you enough for your services. I think you know we appreciate you. And like the mayor said, we do back you, and we do want to give you nothing but the best that we can afford. So again, thank you all. And Judy, thank you for starting this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman from Ward 2, Rupa Siegel.
Good evening, everyone. I just really echo a lot of the words of the other council people, and really, you know, being the daughter of two doctors, I've grown up around medicine, emergencies. I've spent many hours with my mom and dad at 2 a.m. at the hospital waiting for the ambulance. So I know how important your work is, what you do, and how you have to respond so quickly. So I thank you for all you've done. I know the pandemic was so hard, but everything you did day in and day out to keep our community safe and to keep getting people the care and what they needed. So thank you so much for what you do.
Councilman DePiro, Ward 3.
Thank you and good evening. Growing up in Monroe Township and watching EMS through Judy and her dedication to Monroe Township and sacrifices that she made to make us be here today, each and every one of us. I can't thank her enough. My family, personal experiences alone We always call for EMS, police, and fire. This town is second to none. We have excellent police, excellent first aid, and excellent fire. That's the reason why a lot of people live in Monroe, stay in Monroe, retire in Monroe. But when we look back at the development called Leisure World, when it was first here, now it's Rossmore, when we only started with one community as adult communities, and now half our communities are senior citizens, and it's very important. And to watch you guys and to see the updates that you put on Facebook, it's very important that you are a big asset in our communities. And we're here, as our mayor said before, when the call is out to your dispatch, it goes to your call, you guys make it, no matter what it is. And I'm a fire commissioner for 20 years, and I say the same thing to our fire company. We don't know what, you guys don't know what you're going to walk into, but you always walk in there and you make our residents the priority, and we're here to support you guys. And we can't thank Judy and her staff and each and every one of you. It's important that we support you guys. But as Terry said before, you guys are the front, and we're here for you. We got your back. So thank you again, and stay safe.
Thank you all. I'm going to suggest, as I've been advised, that we take a 5-minute break so you can take pictures. Is that what we're doing? 5 minutes, folks? We truly do. Blessed that we have you and are pleased to be doing this.
6:47.
6:47. We'll reconvene in 5 minutes.
All right, let me move so they can take.
We're going to try and do a group picture. If everybody's okay to stand behind you, we'll have
Yeah, I'm getting out of the
Judy
way.
in the middle. We'll try and have some of all, if I could get the mayor and council to join as well.
Oh, sure.
I guess the taller folks towards the back.
Here we go.
So we get Judy in the middle. Yeah, back. We're gonna have everyone. I don't know how to. You guys can stand on the side.
Do we know what shape
Because we're all gonna look at Kyle and Stacy. We're working on this. You guys are all gonna have to get together here. We're gonna have to get the mayor and council to squeeze in. You're gonna be right behind her. He's in there. Hang on, so do we need people to squeeze more, or what? Okay, so we're gonna get Kyle over here. Stacy. Everybody smile.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Good to see you.
April
No,
23rd.
thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Take care.
No, we
April
appreciate
23rd.
you guys.
The library.
Thank you.
Library.
At 11 o'clock.
And DPW too, right? Is that a problem?
Oh, sorry, yes, DPW the same day. 8 to 11.
Thank you. She gave me that, but I. Because I just don't want to tell somebody. I gotta have things. Thank you. All right, take care. Thank you. Take care. See you.
You know, I love my daughter.
I don't have a card.
I miss
Yeah. I don't want to give you my.
I didn't realize
Yeah, you take it down for
Yeah. No, yeah, because when you started, yeah.
myself.
Right. And you're,
Yeah.
in a way,
When you're live, you're
I know
Yeah,
my
well, I
neighbors,
can
I
push
can
that button.
treat them, the
Push that
people,
button.
so they're
True, you can turn
They're
your
really-
lights off.
Shut it off.
very highly trained. Thank you. Thank you. Good job. Good job. Take care of mommy.
Since we got here.
What?
Were you watering them?
Bye-bye, take
Oh, thank you, Judy.
Little bushes.
Look at you, you're all full of funnies. You needed like that time off? Was Florida nice? Oh. I thought you were.
My ankle must be healing. I hopped up there with that ankle. This is good.
All right.
We're gonna come back again now. Let's might as well. We have for 5 minutes, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's done, you can do it. It's,
The agenda meeting is officially reconvened.
6:52.
At what time?
6:52,
6:52 PM.
number
We
7.
will begin with number 7, the ordinances for second reading at our April 4th regular meeting. The township clerk will please read that ordinance.
That's 03-2022-009, ordinance amending the code of the Township of Monroe to prohibit parking of unregistered or uninspected vehicles in front yards under Chapter 63, Section 33.
Item 8, ordinance for introduction at the April 4th meeting.
Ordinance 04-2022-010, ordinance of the Township of Monroe in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, to acquire by negotiated agreement or exercise of the power of eminent domain portions of real property and/or property interests for improvements, rights-of-way, drainage, and temporary construction easements required for the installation of the leach aid pump station project known and designated as portions of Lot 25, Block 48.60 on the official tax map of the Township of Monroe, Middlesex County, New Jersey. Ordinance 04-2022-011, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit and to establish a cap bank.
Thank you. Item 9 is the resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda at the April 4th regular meeting, R-4-2022-108 through R-4-2022-129. Would all council members please review the resolutions? If there are any that you would like accepted from the consent agenda, please let the chair know. Hearing none, we will move to the public comment section. Remember, this is limited to agenda items only. 5 minutes per speaker. May I have a motion to open the public comment section?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Anyone wishing to address the council, please come forward to the microphone. Welcome back. Please remember, we need your name and address for our record.
George Gunkelman, 5 Philly Court, Monroe. Is this on?
I don't know.
Is it on?
Is that
Can you
mic
tap
on?
it? Can you tap the mic?
Tap the mic.
No.
No, you're not
Just
on.
like-
Here comes the microphone person.
Okay. George Gunkelman, 5 Kelly Court, Monroe. I'd like a little bit of clarification on ordinance 010 about acquiring the land for the pump station. Do we know anything as yet as to how BFI is going to reimburse Monroe for these expenditures that we keep making?
No, we haven't made that determination yet.
So we're just out there. Are these items in the budget?
These items, this
Well,
is part
I'm
of,
talking about the project as a whole.
well, the answer is that there's a bond,
Which consists a lot of different separate items.
there was a bond
contracts.
ordinance passed. There
Excuse
was a
me?
bond ordinance passed in, I guess, last year. It was $3.2 million. Does that sound correct? $3.5 million.
So
It's part,
we-
so it's part of that bond ordinance.
So we passed a bond ordinance to fund these items that are triggered by BFI.
Correct.
So we are going to fund that and the interest related to it. On the prospect of recovering it, how and when?
The answer is we haven't made a determination as to the method for recovering it as of yet.
So we just decided as a township that we're going to spend taxpayer money to solve the BFI created problem on an unlimited basis?
No, that's
Or
not-
limited to the, excuse me, limited to the bond issue that was approved?
The answer is to the bond issue. So once again, this is a capital improvement. So all capital improvements forgetting about how they're funded would have to have been part of a bond ordinance. Remember, bond ordinances are capital appropriations plus an authorization to borrow money. They're both. So that's how you appropriate money for capital expenditure.
I'm aware of
is
that.
what we did.
Yeah, of
Okay,
course.
so I wasn't sure if
Fine.
you were.
My
But the
point
answer is
is-
that you're asking me to tell you what our strategies are in a negotiation with a party at a public meeting, and I don't think that I'm going to do that. But I'm just going to tell you the same answer over and over again, which is that we haven't yet come to a determination as to how that is going to happen.
So the process of how we're going to do this is going to be kept secret until at such time that we determine if we've won or lost?
I think I have answered the question already. I can't give you a better answer than that. I apologize.
So makes it similar to the process with the Eagle's Nest?
I'm sorry, two completely different.
I never. Yeah, they are different. I asked.
They are
if
two
they were
completely
the
different.
same. If it was the same process, where we keep our
I don't even know how they're
secret until the court hands us our hat.
No, I don't think that's. By the way, I don't think that's the case either. I think the strategy with regards to the Eagles Nest case has been played out in public pretty forcefully. So I don't know. I'm not really quite sure with that. But at the same point in time, and in all due respect, if you don't mind me answering the question, I have an obligation as the township attorney. If you would like me to discuss our litigation strategy in public so that BFI could get a tape of this and if you think that that's better for the public, then we could do that. But I don't, so I'm not going to do that. But the answer is that we have an obligation to get this fixed. We're focused on doing that because we had to take care of the public health emergency, and what happens next will play itself out. By the way, it'll play itself out in these chambers. It's just not going to do it tonight.
So the decision was we're just going to go ahead and fund it.
Did I say that we made that decision? Because I don't think I did.
Well, we have gone ahead and funded
Well,
it.
we have to because you have to pass an appropriation. We can't spend money without doing it.
I just would have been a lot more comfortable if there was some dialogue about even the intent to recover and what additional damages might be covered by that. It seems like we've spent an awful lot of township time, resources, and money, other than human resources, dealing with this, addressing with this. I don't know how much of it is kept identified so that we can negotiate to recover it if at such time we have success in gaining that. I don't know.
Well, I think that the reason that we moved in this fashion is because our first priority was to solve the public health problem. That was our first problem. So we needed to solve that, which is what we did. That's why we moved aggressively to do that. We didn't want to wait, we didn't want to wait to have a negotiation up front and then solve a problem while the people in that neighborhood were suffering. We thought that the best thing to do was to move the process forward as quickly as possible, solve the problem, and then deal with the other issues afterwards. That's been our approach. You can criticize the administration for doing that. I think the people in the neighborhood might have a different opinion about what should have come first, the cart or the horse. We think that we did it in the right in the right order here. And I'm sorry that I can't be more direct with you about how it is that we're going to deal with a multinational corporation, but I'm certainly not going to do it at a public meeting with them not sitting here so that they can. I just don't think that's in anybody's I don't think it's in the public's interest.
Council President.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Prakash, your name and address for our record, please.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, President. Prakash Parab, 33 Dana Drive. Again, EMS, our EMS is so great. I've seen it in person, actually. The person had severe chest pain, and they were there within 1 and 2 minutes. And I have seen them. I have met Judy when the COVID crisis were going on. We had Seva for Community program. We made masks for them. They didn't even had good protection. Everyone, first line force that time, this COVID came such a surprise for all of us. And really, we have to appreciate and thank Mayor and all of you appreciating them. Some clarification, R4 2022-109. Glad to see that we are going a partnership with some town regarding having a swimming pool. The most in our township, our high school doesn't have a swimming team because we don't have swimming pool and the funding. So my question is, once we need this agreement with Marlboro Township, with the swimming pool will be available for our high school team to be used?
Mr. Weinberg, can you respond to that, please?
I don't know the answer to that question. What this agreement does, and it could lead to something like that, is there are some neighboring towns to Marlboro that get a discount on the swim club membership. And then folks who are not from those neighboring towns and shared services pay the highest. There's sort of 3 tiers: Marlboro resident, shared services, and then outside of the shared services region. There are a handful of people from Monroe who utilize the facility, so they're the head of their their pool system reached out to me and asked about partnering, and we certainly want to do that. But we could certainly explore beyond this to see how we could. I know that we had some initial conversation with them about how maybe our rec program could use it. But I believe they're only open in the summer and they're outdoors.
Okay.
So I don't think it would be appropriate for indoor swimming. But we are looking at it for our rec program.
Okay, I was not
As a
knowing it
trip.
was only outdoor. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know. I don't want to go over. There must be some cost and all that. And it is about 30 minutes from here. But there's a good opportunity. And like to know later on how much it costs, suppose someone wants to use it. There is also R4 2022-115, the Senate Bill 330. We are requesting, we are promoting to be passed. How much money we'll get if it is passed, approximately? I'm not asking dollar to dollar.
Mr. Weinberg.
Yep, it's a great question. So it's hard to say exactly how much because it depends how much money they choose to put forward. They're deciding whether they're going to put the money back in. And again, I'll just try and explain this really quickly. It's called the energy tax receipts. They used to come directly to the municipalities in the past. Then at some point, the state took over and was doing it as a pass-through to us. And then in 2009, they froze it, and we're still at $2.238 million. But they're collecting significantly more than that, possibly $1 million to $1.5 million more than that. So what the municipalities are doing, including the council here and the mayor, is reminding them regarding property tax relief and affordability that all we want is our fair share that should be passed through to us. Depending on how long the phase-in will be how much we get each year. If it's a 2-year phase-in, it'll be a significant jump over 2 years. Okay. If it's a 5-year phase-in, it'll be a little more gradual for it to come back. But it is rightly money that municipalities should be getting, and it's great that the legislature is moving forward and the council is endorsing it. And
I hope it passes, and there's good support for that. President, there's good support for that.
Yeah, it already passed the Senate, and now it's moving on to the Assembly. Okay. They keep making amendments versus that 2 versus 5 years, so we'll just keep an eye on it.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak to us on agenda items, please come forward now. If not, may I have a motion to close? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Your name and address for our records. You were here the earliest, and I almost didn't see you walking up.
Greg Johannesson, 15 Oliver Street. You may know the name as I've been sitting and serving the Recreation Advisory Board for the past 20 years. My concerns for the 0-3-2022-009, unregistered vehicles in the front yards. I was just wondering if there's been any, and please hold off on the answers until I finish, because I do have a few things and I don't want to burn up my time. Has there been any effort by the council to let the hundreds of residents know that they might have to seek costly off-site storage for their unregistered vehicles if this ordinance passes? I know there's people that I spoke to through town, more north of my block, of my residence. Nobody really knows about it, and there are some vehicles down there. Has the township considered the financial burden that would be stowed upon these people that can't afford off-site storage or a different place to stow their cars, one driveway people and stuff like that? This ordinance, how will it apply to project cars that are currently parked in the front lawns that are being worked on? Engines out, on the workbenches, taking them apart, putting them back together, the drivetrains, the transmissions, and so on. How is that going to apply to that? And you know, there's a group of guys around the corner from me that have race cars. That cars they don't get registered. They take them to Englishtown and they race them, but they're not a registered vehicle. Many residents around town have unregistered vehicles on their front lawns for sale, right? For sale vehicle, how will the ordinance apply to that? In addition, you know, the young college kid that is trying to save up some money to go register a car that his parents might have given him, you know, that's going to play a major role in that too. One of the main points expressed by residents and for the residents in the last meeting in favor of this ordinance is that the ordinance will improve aesthetics of the town. I don't see the difference between a license plate on a vehicle and a license plate not on a vehicle, how it's going to improve the aesthetics of the look of the vehicle. I'm asking the council to please take the logistics of this ordinance into consideration before the vote. I think that there is a lot of financial burden on people that would have to have their cars towed or put into private storage, and that really can't afford that. And in these trying times, I really think that would be unjust for these people, especially the ones that don't know about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Is there anyone else? Seeing none this time correctly, can I have a motion to close the public portion of this meeting?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay.
Motion adjourned.
May I have a motion to adjourn the agenda session? May I have a second, please?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel?
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura?
Yes.
Council President Cohen?
Yes. This meeting is adjourned
7:09.
at 7:09. And we will now move to our regular meeting. Sorry, every once in a while I misplace my paper. Regular meeting has been called to order by the council clerk at the time so indicated. May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman DePiero?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel?
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura?
Yes.
Council President Cohen?
May I have a motion to approve the
Yes.
payment of,
Give me a yes.
yes,
Thank you.
motion to approve the payment of claims per run date of March 30th, 2022. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero?
Abstain.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel?
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura?
Yes.
Council President Cohen?
Yes, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the following meetings as written and presented? March 7th, 2022, combined agenda and regular meeting. Motion, please.
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. We will move to the ordinance for second reading, 03-2022-009.
Ordinance amending the Code of the Township of Monroe to prohibit parking of unregistered or uninspected vehicles in front yards under Chapter 63, Section 33.
May I have a motion to open a public hearing on this ordinance only?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to address the council during this regular meeting regarding that proposed ordinance, please come forward now. If you finish talking to each other, gentlemen. Dr. Parab, your name and
Yeah,
address for our
yes.
record, please.
Thank you. Prakash Parab, 33 Dana Drive. My request is, President, can you, when the gentleman came and talked about this ordinance and impact to the public, the floor was, he didn't ask the response to his question. So I request, I have same questions what he asked. Can you respond to them, please?
Mr.
Well,
Or-
Mr. Weinberg could probably respond to some of it. The one thing that I want to point out is currently the ordinance says that you can't dismantle a car in your front yard and make repairs on it. You have to do that inside of a structure. So there was some comment that, well, there are people now, what are the people going to do with the cars that they've taken apart that are in their front yard? What are they supposed to do? Well, right now they're in violation of our ordinance because you can only do that in a structure. So that's an activity that this isn't changing that part of it. So I just wanted to clarify that. I don't know, Mr. Weinberg, you can maybe, or Councilman DePiero, who asked me to write this ordinance, maybe can answer some of your questions.
Well, by cleaning this up, it gives us enforcement that we already have it, that you can't have an auto body shop, in a residential neighborhood
Correct.
or anything like that. And for people that do have these approvals, then it doesn't give them any justice either, because everybody can't be working on their cars or taking it to Englishtown. But last time you look at stuff like this, it gives our zoning basically a cleaner ordinance that says we can't have everybody just taking their cars apart on the front lawn, or disabled vehicles, unregistered. So as the attorney said, we're just cleaning it up.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Don't want to have clean up and repairing and then doing service businesses, or I agree with that. If there are more questions, I request the gentleman to come and ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Parab. Please, sir, again, we will need your name and address for our record.
15 Oliver Street. So I will go back to the questions, but to dismantle it, I think the ordinance reads that more than one vehicle.
No.
No? Doesn't? Okay.
The ordinance reads, and I'll read it for you.
All right, go ahead.
No vehicle at any time shall undergo major overhaul, including body work, in any residential district unless such work is performed inside a structure or similarly enclosed area designed and approved for such purposes.
Okay.
So the answer is that you can't dismantle your car on your front lawn now.
Right, okay. All right, so be it. But the for sale vehicles or vehicles that are being held until somebody raised enough money within the family to register the vehicle, a perfectly good vehicle sitting on the front lawn, because we only have one driveway, right? A one-car driveway, that's all we have. So, in my area, we have the easement. That's the type. That was one of the other questions. Has the council made the efforts to let the residents know that this ordinance, if it passes, with a financial burden it's going to have on them? I just think that the people that I spoke to, they have no idea whether we post it or put it in the paper. But do they really know? Do we have the opportunity to, come to as a community and say, is it going to financially impact us? So, and then and that was the other question. So, was there enough time for this ordinance to go with the passing? I mean, it's not just a poster on a board, or it takes a lot of time that's a lot of people in Monroe that have these, cars sitting out front. Okay? That's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to come to the council, please come to now. Your name and address for the records, please, ma'am.
Elizabeth Fagan, 21 Woodcrest Circle, Monroe Township, New Jersey. I do see this from two different angles. I'm not too familiar with this ordinance, but I do have a question. My family are, minus myself, are a bunch of car junkies, so I'm lenient towards having the cars being worked on. But on the other hand, when we did live in Mill Lake, there was someone who would keep a car on jacks in the road, which is very unsafe. And, so I can see it from both ends, but what I'd like to know is, what is the time frame? If someone did get a warning, are they immediately charged, or are they given a notice? Are they said, you have 60 days and then you'll pay a fine, or are they immediately fined?
So the ordinance amendment just simply requires you to put it in your driveway. So I don't know that you would need 60 days to put the car in your driveway. So the answer is, we're not talking about, so right now, there's already an ordinance in place about cars that are disrepair and are being, you're not supposed to do it in your front yard. So right now, it has no notice. Typically what our police will do, and the chief's not here, but he'll tell you this, is they'll go and say, hey, you got to move that, you can't put that car in your lawn, you got to put it in the driveway. That's typically what the enforcement is, and if you don't, then you're going to get a ticket for not doing it. Or if you when the cop drives away, you put it back on your lawn, then you're going to get a ticket. That's the way it is.
When you're pulled over for something, you normally get, if the police officer writes you a warning, it's written down.
The answer is, if you're pulled over for driving if you're pulled over for driving a car, a car that's not registered, you just get a ticket.
No, I'm saying like a license plate obstruction. You're given a warning by an officer. The next officer that pulls you over knows the date and time that you got that warning. Now, will written warnings be given so that if this person says is not in favor of the police, that there can't be favoritism?
First, I'm not sure that's true about the way warnings work, just so you know. But
I got pulled over twice.
Some of this, but it doesn't mean that it's in a computer system and they know what time and date that you got it. That's the police officer who gave you a pass the first time and said, yeah, go take care of this. Mr. Weinberg might have a better idea.
Just really quick, our zoning officer almost always gives someone a warning and time to abate it, unless it's like an immediate emergency where life is in jeopardy
And
or
that's
property.
noted.
But otherwise, they normally get a certain amount of days to give them a chance to understand, research the law, and come into compliance.
Okay. Well, as long as they get a couple days, that's all I was asking. All right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wish to address us, please? Your name and address for our record, sir.
Frank Steinhauser, 19 Oliver Street.
I'm sorry, sir, I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry. Frank Steinhauser, 19 Oliver Street, Monroe. Great to see everybody back in person again, sure is. I rise in support of Amendment 03-2022-009. I've expressed my concerns earlier. Just to reiterate about having unregistered, uninsured vehicles parked on front lawns of people's property in Monroe raises several concerns. One is environmental, transmission fluids, gasolines, oils, radiator fluids dripping into our ground. We have a high water table in Monroe. Surely those chemicals, all hazardous, would adversely affect the environment and our water table in Monroe. Secondly, the fire department, EMS workers, police officers, having a obstruction such as vehicles parked on their front lawns surely obstruct their ability to get to the emergencies quicker, especially with the fire. You got to get the tower ladder, engine company truck close to the fire scene, close to a house. Surely those vehicles are going to obstruct our firefighters' ability to break down that fire quickly. Thirdly, children playing in the area on the block see cars on front lawns. They see it as a toy. Let's go see what's around it. Throwing stones, rocks, balls, broken windows. Now you have glass in the front lawns. Definitely be a problem for kids playing in the area. And that's about all I have to say on that matter. Long live Ukraine. Peace to the people over there.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Is there anyone else who wishes to address us on this issue? Hearing none, I would like a motion to close the public hearing on 03-2022-009.
Make a motion.
Thank you. May I have a second on that motion?
Second.
May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance, please?
Make a motion.
May I have a second on this motion?
Second.
May you get a roll call vote?
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes, motion is adopted. Item 5, ordinances for introduction.
Ordinance 04-2022-010, ordinance of the Township of Monroe in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, to acquire by negotiated agreement or exercise of the power of eminent domain portions of real property and/or property interests for improvements, rights-of-way, drainage, and temporary construction easements required for the installation of the leachate pump station project, known and designated as portions of Lot 25, Tax Block 148.60 on the official tax map of the Township of Monroe, Middlesex County, New Jersey.
May I have a motion, please? May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. May we have a roll call?
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Motion passes. The ordinance has been introduced.
Ord-
Go ahead,
Ordinance
please.
O-4-2022-011, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit and to establish a capital bank.
Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. We'll move to our resolution.
Yep, number 6.
We have no exceptions to the resolutions under the consent agenda.
No.
Therefore, may I have a motion, please, to adopt them?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Item 8, we move to our reports. We can begin with our administrator, Mr. Weinberg, looking so spiffy in person.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Council President. I'll be somewhat brief. I did comment earlier on the energy tax receipts resolution that had been flat for 13 years, so I do want to thank the mayor and council for moving forward on that and reaching out to our legislators. I did enjoy the March 26th cleanup day and just wanted to give a special thank you to DPW, Recreation, and all the residents who showed up. We did a pretty good job on Perrineville between Prospect Plains and Union Valley Road. So that was a great success. We have an item on here for a $10,000 grant performance grant for the state OEM and FEMA for our Office of Emergency Management. So I just want to thank the chief on that. I want to congratulate Mark. There's a great item on here where we received 12 bids. It's always exciting when we receive a lot of bids on an expensive project like the repaving and improvements to North State Home Road, making a turn onto Spotswood Gravel Hill Road, and then another turn onto Lower Machaponix. That came in at about $780,000. And not only did we get 12 bids to get a good price, but one of the items on there is that $609,000 of the $780,000 is coming from an NJDOT local aid grant. And when we've been working for years to increase the amount of money we get in grants, we have more than doubled it now over the past 5 years. And so I would say more than 75 to 80% of this is going to be funded for the construction costs through the state, which is very exciting. And then finally, just a quick plug for our rec department. We're always looking for camp counselors, so if you have any friends or family or young people who might want to work in our program this summer, please send them and ask them to call the recreation department. It's a very exciting program, chance to be outside, inside, work with Monroe youth, and we continue to try and expand that program. We're excited about this summer, but we do need a few more counselors. So spread the word if you're interested, and we'd love to have you. Thank you.
Thank you. Our engineers report, again, we're all in person. I'm seeing you for real. Mark Rasimowitz, please.
Thank you, Council President. Just to pick up where Alan left off on the recommendation of award that the council approved tonight for North State Home, Lower Manchaponix, and a portion of Spotswood Gravel Hill Road. As Alan said, we did receive 12 bids. It was very competitive, the bids. They varied between $780,000 and $950,000. So it was very competitive, and we're looking forward to get that started as quickly as possible and have that repaved sometime over the summer here. The next project we're working on, Costco Drive. It's an NJDOT funded project as well. About $600,000 is the funding for that from the state. We're finalizing the design plans. We've been working with NJDOT to get final approval of those plans, and I expect to be out to bid sometime in May. And the last item that's under construction, the inclusive playground over off Prospect Plains Road near the soccer complex. It is under construction. We are back ordered with the equipment. Right now, we anticipate the delivery of the equipment to be first or second week of May. But as soon as that gets in, we'll be able to get that project wrapped up.
Thank you
My
very
report.
much. Going to move to the council's reports. I am going to begin with Ward 1. Before your voice completely seems to desert you, Councilwoman Schneider, who is, please.
Thank you. The Human Relations Commission, next month, we will be honoring what we call good character students at our May council meeting. And one student in each grade has been nominated by their teachers, and they'll receive a certificate and a gift card. I think the little ones are more excited with the gift card. But we're also looking for members for the Human Relations Commission. And if you're interested, please join us. Applications can be found on our township website. This is a very, very diverse group of all backgrounds, so we look forward to anyone who would like to join us. The Commission on Aging at the Senior Center, like I said, I can't say enough of what they do. Monthly reports. They service over 2,394 people. The town is growing and our employees are still the same there, but they do a phenomenal job. Social services, 222 they service. Transportation, that's a phenomenal department. They do trips, well, they'll start their trips again. The medical transports, 431, 100 more than the month before. The Princeton Shuttle, the Freehold Shuttle, the In-Town Shuttle, the Senior Center Shuttle, Park and Ride. It's just phenomenal. I just received an email of a new resident who moved into Rossmore because of our transportation, particularly our medical. So the word is out what a great town this is. Our food pantry, they do a wonderful job. There's going to be a replenishment, non-version. It's Monroe Township Drive-By. It's going to be on April 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Park and Ride on Applegarth. So anybody who's interested, please stop by. There will be a flyer that goes out to show you what they can use. And not only do we supply our food pantry, but we do help Jamesburg, Calmetta, Spotswood, and I know 4 others. So this is a wonderful drive-by. And hunger shouldn't be in the United States. We produce the most food in the world. I don't understand why somebody goes hungry. Something has to be done with hunger. That's a real pet peeve of mine. That's it.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Siegel.
Good evening. Thank you, Council President Cohen. I just wanted to share a couple things. I was very excited to see on our agenda today about the shared service agreement with the Marlboro Swim Club. I think it's wonderful that we engage in these utilize shared services with our neighboring towns, and it's a win-win all around. It helps promote healthy and wellness to our residents too, and I look forward to working towards more of these type of shared services opportunities in the future. One of the other things I had read about recently was how we're the safest town in New Jersey and the 6th safest town in the country. So really kudos goes out and applaud and commend our township and our police department, which we were so fortunate to be part of a ceremony recently where we promoted 2 sergeants and 9 new officers. So really want to thank everyone involved. And, you know, it's also vigilance on the community too, everyone working together. But this just shows, again, our commitment to the safety of our residents. And I want to echo Mr. Weinberg about our community cleanup day. It was a great event. It was so nice to see so many people out there coming, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, different organizations throughout the town. I think there was somewhere around 80 people that showed up to help clean up. And just a little tip, if you join one of these events in the future, work with the DPW crew. They share a lot of good information and history about our town, so it makes it a little bit more fun too. But thank you to all that were involved with organizing that event. And I just want to share a couple items from some of the commissions I'm a liaison on. They're all actively very busy. The Environmental Commission has a stream cleanup day on April 23rd. If you're interested in participating, the information's on their webpage. And I know there were a lot of Cub Scouts and Girl Scouts that were looking for those opportunities, so please go ahead and register on their page. The Historic Preservation Commission is starting open houses at Dye Farm again. May 1st is their first date, so please check their social media pages for times and the website too. And the last I want to say is it's just so nice that a lot of our events are opening up and we're coming out of the pandemic. It's nice to be in person and see so many of our community members coming out. And it's always nice to meet everyone. I appreciate the great conversations, and I ask you to continue to keep the dialogue open. So have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilman DePiero, Ward 3.
Thank you very much. As the liaison for Shade Tree, we're going to be handing out tree seedlings on April 23rd at the library, starting at 11 o'clock, and at the DPW from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's April 23rd. It's a great program. It helps keep Monroe green, and a lot of people come for these seedlings every year. I wanted to thank DPW for paving on Old Bridge Englishtown Road and Mount Smell. There was some potholes over there that were so bad that the cars going in there were losing control when they hit the water, and they realized it was a pothole a foot or two deep. So our DPW did an in-house paving, and for temporary until we get that intersection with a signal. I also wanted to ask if we had an update. I know we took down the old police department on Spotswood Englishtown, but do we have an update on that transfer of that 90 acres?
Mr. Weinberg, please.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman, I have been going back and forth with the Treasury Department, and I'm trying to schedule something for this month where we could make that happen. So the beat goes on that, and I'm confident we'll get there and have an event around that as well.
Good. That's something good for the community. Thank you. As one of the residents came up and talked about BFI, living on one side of the closed landfill has always been our concern all these years. But we also have to keep our eye on the expenditures. I know as our lawyer advised about the bond, but I just like to keep a running tab on what exactly our expenditures are on that bond. And it's something that it's responsible government, and it's something that I feel as a councilman I have to ask that question. And also as a citizen, I am concerned with the citizens around the community, around that closed landfill as well. But it's something that we definitely have to be accounted for, and we should keep a running tab on exactly what that bond expenditures are. I attended another lawsuit situation was the Bald Eagle, as the same resident made a comment, which I was in the hearing for 2 days, a day and a half with our professionals, so that I'm sure we'll be getting a brief on what the judge decides on that case. So we'll stay tuned for that one. Do we have any dates on the master plan? Can I get an update on when the public, and I put an email together, but I never got a response on dates.
Mr. Strawn, you intending to respond to that, please?
Oh, you wanted to choose that one?
Thank you.
Hold it down, Joe.
There you go.
All right. Excellent question, Councilman. The dates that we have right now are that we're finalizing all of the public input that has come in through the 3 open houses and the online survey that came in. We have over 85,000 responses and over 5,500 comments that actually came in from the public. And what we're trying to do now is synthesize all of those into a master plan document. Based on the latest feedback that I've gotten from our consultant team, we hope that within the next month or so, we should be able to share the initial draft with the master plan subcommittee as well as the stakeholder group once they have an opportunity, obviously because they have a vested interest in this as well, since they've been part of the process since the beginning. Once they've had an opportunity to comment, then we're going to go ahead and roll that out for public comment and for planning board comment at the planning board meetings, and I would imagine that'll take place probably early summer.
Okay, thank you. So we had this cleanup, and I received a letter from Mr. Dave Perry, who resides at 1524 Prineville Road, and he asked if I could pass this along to the mayor and council, and he thanked everyone for doing the cleanup, but he also requested if we can go from Union Valley Road to the new bridge on Prineville, if we can put that into our future cleanups. He said behind the guardrails, it's a big concern, and being a county road, we know it's a heavy traffic road, so he just wanted me to mention that, so I have a letter here from him. And then another, we discussed with Councilman Van Doren on Friday. I went down after we had our discussion on Monmouth Road, where the rec center is, and also Mill Lake School. There used to be a beacon there, and that was functioning for the school and for the rec. But now that the road is paved, it's smooth, people seem to kind of travel more than 25. So maybe we can get our chief of police to put a little enforcement down there, and also a trailer, as I'm sure Terry's going to pick up on. But it's something that definitely concerns us, because there's a lot of traffic and a lot of children there. And if that beacon, I didn't see it. I don't know what happened to it. I thought it was in the plan to repair it. But if we can get that beacon down there and also get some enforcement. So, and I just wanted to say one last thing. We said thanks to all the first responders, but again, we need to say thanks to all our township employees that the last 2 or 3 years, and our schools that managed to get through these crazy days of COVID, because everybody, as our mayor said before, everybody answered the call. Our DPW guys, the snow plowing, the water company, we all lived through something that we never thought we would see. But this town really outshined every opportunity during those crazy times to keep this town moving, going forward, and doing the services that we always do for our community. So I just want to say thank you to all our residents, from our mayor, from DPW, from everybody, administration, clerk's office. Everybody did a phenomenal job, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman. Our Council Vice President, Mr. Van Zura, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, first of all, as the liaison to the Rec Advisory Committee, I would mention that we're now moving from our winter sports into our spring sports, which is always a nice time of year. I noticed that we had our opening day in baseball, and the mayor was there to throw out the first pitch, which saw some pictures. Kids appreciate all that kind of stuff. We just went through playoffs with the basketball, and now I think spring's probably the busiest. I don't know the exact numbers, but we literally have hundreds of kids playing soccer. We have hundreds of kids playing baseball, Little League stuff. We have tons of kids playing softball and some of the other sports that are out there. So that's what the town's about, is providing for the citizens. And, you know, when you have your taxes go for something good. These are all those, I just think those are the good activities that make it all kind of worthwhile. Last month, we had the police here for when they had their swearing in for the new officers over the last 3 years and the promotion for the other officers. Tonight we had the EMS. Let's not also forget our firefighters. All of these people in our town do a great job, and even as Charlie said, also the teachers and everybody that comes out here. You know, and that's the stuff that makes Monroe great. You know, you take that, you combine it with the little things like, you know, our administrator getting funding from the state so that when we get our roads paved, which is another thing that the town provides, we're not paying through the nose, because out of 700 and some thousand, the state paid for 600,000. I mean, I think that's awesome. So all these little things add up and it all makes part of Monroe. My personal favorite this past month, and some people have heard this from other meetings that I was at, I had the pleasure of presenting a proclamation to one of our residents, Charlie Miller, who was 100 years old this year. And Charlie was in the Navy, 40 years in the Navy, and he got special commendations. One's called the Blue Nose because he crossed over the Arctic Circle during his service. He survived the kamikaze attack. Later on, he crossed over the equator, got another thing. You know, this guy's just like another, you know, you want to say common resident in Monroe, but we have heroes that live in our town, and it's great. March 26th, I was not there, but I know the mayor and the others were here for Mr. Seymour Nussenbaum, who received a gold medal from the United States. He's one of only 9 surviving members of the Ghost Army, which was a force that was involved in distracting the Germans during the invasions in Europe during World War II. What a job this guy did. You know, I mean, these people that were out there, and they do these great things. So, you know, you see heroes like that. Those are true heroes, just like our first responders are true heroes. And then, you know, to the lesser extent, you have the people that come out and they help clean up. In their own way, they're heroes too. You know, people that run our community gardens, and then we do our tree things, and, you know, hand out things. These are all positive things in the town, and that's what part of makes it wonderful. So it's very happy with all of that stuff, the cleanups and everything else that goes on here. One last thing I just want to say, it was just about a month ago when we were on Zoom, and I mentioned at that time that the war in the Ukraine had started, and people were just suffering mercilessly. You know, we have this thing in our country, the news, and you know what happens? You start to see something over and over, day after day after day, and it's not new news anymore, and you almost get numb to it. Well, a few weeks ago, or toward when the war first started, I learned about Kyiv, and I learned about a town called Mariupol, where they just totally bombed out buildings, and people were, you know, underground trying to get saved, and you know, it was just horrendous to watch this. and you thought you saw everything, and now I heard about a town called Bucha. Bucha is a town in the Ukraine where the Russians just totally went in, based on reports. The Russian army reportedly had raped people. They assassinated people who had their hands tied behind their back, common citizens, not soldiers in the Ukrainian army, and basically considered what would be considered genocide. I just bring it up now. It's only a township meeting, but I still feel obligated. Ukraine is a very important thing. Let's not forget our fellow citizens, both here in our town and also around the world. After the last meeting, the township posted some, on our township website, we actually have a link now if you want to do anything that you can to support the Ukrainian people. I think most of it's probably going toward the refugees and people that are getting relocated. Last toll, I think it was over 4 million people have fled the country, mostly women, children, and older citizens. So if there's anything we could do to help them, there are sites there. And if you know any other sites that you feel are appropriate for giving, please feel free to do so. But I just wanted to mention that I'm wearing my yellow and blue tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I was reminded that my father-in-law was born in the Ukraine. Matter of fact, he was born in Chernobyl, and that my grandparents were born also, came from the Ukraine to this country, considering themselves very fortunate to be able to be here. So remembering those who are suffering and assisting when we can is a good thing. Before I turn this over to our mayor, I wanted to just make a reminder, please. I have noticed that while we're all delighted to be back in person, and potentially none more than me, who is very tired of Zoom, the disease is far from done with us. And while Monroe has an enviable vaccination rate, enviable, well over 95%, I think, Mr. Mayor, yes? Very close. The administration worked, and the mayor and the administration and worked very hard, and the citizens who volunteered to assist in those efforts worked very hard. We cannot let our guard down. If people have not had a booster shot, we need to support that. We need to encourage them. We need not to get into arguments with people who have chosen not to be vaccinated, but to remind them of the benefits. So folks, please let us not think we are done. I would like us all to be able to continue on a road toward health. And with that, I am delighted and honored to ask our mayor to once more give us his report for the evening.
Thank you, Council President, for allowing me to report. Just to continue the conversation regarding the Ukraine, as Councilman Van Zur was talking about, obviously our hearts and our prayers go out to all of those. But we also talked about what we can do. And a couple weeks ago, a month ago, we put out on our website, our Facebook page, a particular church, the St. George Ukrainian Orthodox Church, where donations can go there. And it was reported to me that Monroe residents raised over $50,000 in donation and supplies to help the people of Ukraine. Personally, I was asked to perform a wedding about 2 weeks ago to a young couple from the Ukraine to get married. She didn't speak any English. I did try to learn how to say I pronounce you husband and wife in Ukraine. I got an A for effort. I got and a smile for pronunciation. Again, it hits home. It hits home hard. And what we can offer, obviously, is our financial support, but most importantly, just our prayers. Just keep everyone in mind. I am wearing today, we had our Autism Awareness Proclamation at our meeting earlier. I'm wearing my autism pin here. I was very happy to have as my guests a a man and his mother to come in to talk about autism awareness. So I thought it was very important for me to proudly wear the pin that was bestowed upon me. We're talking about the community cleanup as well. There was also a group of very eager people to help out. It was employees from ShopRite. So they came rolling down with a cart full of stuff to give out to the volunteers, but then they also stayed and they helped clean up. It was the manager as well as a number of the employees. So I thought I wanted to at least say thank you to the Concordia ShopRite for helping and participating. I'm sorry.
Stop and Shop.
Stop and Shop. I get
Busted. Look at that.
Yeah, see that. So I could come up with excuses. Betty has her allergies bothering her. My allergy. I had to grade 30 papers today, and I'm just so bear with me. There was also mention about Seymour Nussenbaum and the Ghost Army project, which is, again, I thought just to have a asset like that in our community, and there are many people like that in our town that you just come across. And we always talk about we love the library, we love the senior center, but it's the people in our town that just make this just a tremendous place to live and grow. Now, the thing with the Ghost Army project, I'm a history nerd, and there were a lot of other history nerds there as well, so we got to talk some nerd. But I wholeheartedly emphasize, if you have any interest in it, and perhaps just learning about the Ghost Army, I recommend that you go to the GhostArmyLegacyProject.org. Again, that's the GhostArmyLegacyProject.org to learn more about this tremendous part of World War II, which was kept secret for over 50 years. And again, just learn a little bit more about one of Monroe's great residents. Yes, it's spring season, it's baseball time. I did get to throw out the first pitch. I did reach the person I was throwing the ball to. I did cheat. I stood before the mound. I didn't go on the mound, but I did reach the young boy who caught the ball. But again, I'd just like to thank the president of the league, Jason Rutan, his family, and all the executive board members. As league president many, many years ago, I know all of the effort that it takes to make the season great for all of our youngsters who play rec baseball, and I do want to thank them for the invite and the honor to throw out the first pitch. Councilwoman Siegel had mentioned about the safest city. We are indeed we were bestowed the 6th safest city award for the country between the population of 30,000 and 110,000. And again, it's thanking the officers as well as all of the residents. It takes a team effort in regards to this. But I have to, again, urge you, lock your car, don't leave your fob in the car in the driveway. I was riding my bike 2 weeks ago in Seagirt. I'm pedaling, and I'm trying to watch everything, and I just see this flashing light, this billboard in front of me, right in downtown Seagirt, that said, "Don't leave your fob in the car." My friends, this is statewide, this is happening. So again, what can't emphasize enough, lock your car, don't leave your fob in the car. It takes a team effort. Our transportation department has expanded shopping and errand services to our disabled community, which I'm proud to report. Retail and shopping shuttles are available on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Please reach out to the transportation department for further information. I mentioned at our last meeting in regards to a letter I sent to our governor. Every so often, just like to shoot out a little bit of, a letter to our representatives asking for things. In particular, I asked for, of course, school funding, which is good, but also the homestead rebate. So what I'm pleased to announce, and perhaps you saw it in the news, that the governor announced $1.7 million in additional school aid for Monroe Township, so we're really happy. Again, it's always not enough, right? But as we keep building and progressing toward more, it helps out the taxes for our residents, which is important. Speaking of affordability, I'm pleased the council adopted the resolution requiring the state to fully fund the energy receipts tax. I've spoken to all 3 of our state representatives on this important bill, and this will help continue to keep taxes stable here in the township. This is good. Haven't had this in a while. So I am certainly very excited to announce that I have signed on with the Mayor's Wellness Campaign, an initiative of the New Jersey Health Quality Institute. Now you're saying, Steve, Mayor, come on, you look like you're in fantastic shape. I'm not, okay? I'm not. So one of the main goals of the wellness campaign is to improve the overall health and wellness of the New Jersey communities. I am committed, I'm saying it right now, you can hear me all, I am committed to improve the health and wellness of all Monroe residents. So please join me on Friday, April 22nd, 6 o'clock at Avenue K Park. We were going to kick off the campaign with a bike ride with the mayor and police department. This is the first of many events. More information will be posted soon on our website and on social media, and I hope to see you there. Finally, finishing off with last bit of recreation, Saturday, April 9th, is our Easter egg hunt and bonnet contest at the Monroe Soccer Complex Turf Field. Please join us. For more information, contact the rec department. Council President, thank you for allowing me to report.
Mr. Mayor, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Oh, I'll be there camping.
You're camping?
No, candy. She wants a candy.
She's doing candy. Oh, okay. We now open for, I would like a motion to open the public comment section, please. Motion, folks. We're not done yet.
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any members of the public wishing to come forward to address the council, please do so now. Dr. Parab, please. And yet again, your name and address for our record, sir.
Thank you, President. Prakash Parab from 33 Dana Drive. As you have pointed out, COVID is not over, you know.
That's why
Thank God the new subvariant is again picking up.
Correct.
The rate of transmission was low as 0.55, now risen to 1.09. That a value below 1 is preferred, above 1 means the virus is spreading. UK, they are saying the surge, but hospitalization is not surging, so that's the good news. So vaccination, thank you all. 95% of our people are vaccinated, and the booster shot is available for 50 years and elderly now. They want to take, if they're taking the previous booster 4 months behind, then they can take now. One important thing I want to inform the community and you all. Immunocompromised individuals. The vaccines are not that efficient because the immune system doesn't respond to form antibodies. So no one knows this. AstraZeneca drug has been approved, 2 shots, preferably good for immunocompromised people. 2 shots, 1 shot and 2nd shot. So these are typical antibodies itself are infused, and there are 85% protection in these people. So the first preference is for the immunocompromised people. Ask your doctor, AstraZeneca drug approved by the FDA for emergency use. Okay, not many people are aware of that. And if you want, I will send the name of the drug also to Mr. Weinberg. So that is very important for our community. And so that's a comment on COVID. And then the master plan, is thanks. If there are political things going on, when I said to my community, master plan is, is going to arc a letter, political thinking, it will be before the election. I know there's no politics here. I want that plan to be perfect, so we will always cheer for that. We're happy to announce you that the Hindu temple is coming up. The approvals, you guys, the first phase is over. So the first phase, we have auditorium upstairs for cultural programs. And then in total, there are 10 big classrooms to religious thinking and spiritual thinking. So, and it's open for not only Hindus, it is open for everyone. And spiritual thinking, meditation classes will be going on there. So the first phase is over. And about 500 individuals from Tri-State attended on Saturday, and they raised about 1.8 million donations on single night. So the second phase of the temples are going to expand. So that's good news for the Hindu community, as well as other communities are welcome for the temple. And it will be one of the biggest temples in the central New Jersey. And so that's good news. Another one thing what I'm observing is very good that we are raising for the food donations on April 30th, what I heard. The cost of the food is gone up by 20 to 30%. I tell you, the Subway 12-foot, whatever we eat, was $9, now $12.50 for 30. Everything cost is gone up. Hope this will be resolved very soon. And there's a mayor, please come as you are helping community garden cleanup is as Councilwoman Siegel said, it is going to be on 23rd. Many of the volunteers come, so if you have time, please come in. It is a very lot of youngsters come, even 4 or 5 years old kids come there. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Anyone else wishing to address us? Seeing and hearing none? I'm sorry. You see, you're in the corner.
No, it's that big, it's that gigantic
It's Patty.
screen.
It's her gigantic screen.
Yeah, it's on my
Your name and address again, please.
Elizabeth Fagan, 21 Woodcrest Circle. So I've been to a couple of these meetings, and so I'm here today. I have some questions about how the government and the town government in itself works, but I may phrase them within my but I understand that there may be a time limit, so I don't expect them to be answered today. And you'll have to excuse me, I'm a little bit nervous and anxious, but so I live on 21 Woodcrest Circle, which is a circle that is right behind the, right in front of the gas line. And the zoning board has allowed the new warehouse to build within the normal limits of that gas line. Now, I sent an email to each and every one of you and asked you about our building, zoning, whatever department it is that does inspections, because I've seen quite a few things that seem to go unnoticed. Now, this is a gas line behind my house. I'm happy that we're having an Easter egg hunt, and I'm happy that we did a cleanup. But I want to know, am I going to blow up? I asked every single one of you if that warehouse has been examined, if the building has been checked. No one got back to me. In my initial email about the signs, Mr. DePiero got back to me and the mayor's office called me. Now, again, I'm happy we're doing all these community events, but I reached out to each and every one of you. No mention of that at this meeting. No mention. No one gets back to me. When do you, as my government, come back to me? Where is your responsibility to come to me when I address you? Okay, yeah, sometimes you get that crazy old person that asks you the same question at every meeting, and you're just not going to answer it this month. But who is it? This is some of my question. Who is it that determines what questions do and don't get answered? And who is it that answers them? Because I'm sitting here paying my taxes, and none of you seem to care about my concern that I brought up to every single one of you. Okay? We're talking building on a gas line. We're talking our building or zoning department, whoever it is obviously not checking on these builders because the Monroe Park had, 17 signs right there. And apparently none of you seem to drive by and think, wow, that's a lot of signs. I wonder if there's an ordinance about that. But 17 signs. I call, the mayor says, we're gonna have it inspected. Well, obviously none of you have thought that's a lot of signs or driven by there, because then the mayor would have said, we just had that inspected. But that isn't what you did. And then when I email you, you don't email me back. You don't call, nothing. And so now I have to be here and hear about the great things about our town. But you're here to govern it. You're here to be checking things. What is our building and zoning department, or again, I don't know what department it is, but what are they doing for our safety? Do they have the manpower to keep us safe? Do we need more people? So first, what happened with the signs? Were there too many? Were they taken down? And what was the fine? And who is watching over these construction things?
I don't want to interrupt you, so I'm assuming you have concluded your questions to us.
Well, I do want one thing. I am so disappointed. Now
I'm sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to make...
I mean, I'm disappointed.
Well, I am sorry you feel so disappointed. Let us see, Mr. Weinberg, let us begin with you.
Sure, I'd be happy to answer. I'll start with the sign question. I know that the mayor did get that, and we respond as an administration, and I know that you got an email back, and so did the council. I'm just explaining that it was shared also with the council as well, because we don't have different policies when we implement this. This was our response from our zoning board person. Obviously, some of the lease signs were too close together, and so obviously we are addressing that with the individual. With the company, but all the permanent signs were legal, I think, which was highlighted in the letter. We have 2 zoning officers that do go around the town and try and inspect, and we certainly appreciate if someone thinks something is out of focus for us to look into it, and we absolutely do. And like I said, some of those are farther apart. With regard to the pipeline question, I'm going to defer to probably Joe Stroin. Obviously, pipelines are handled by the Board of Public Utilities, and
we're building on it. So
we're not.
I'm tired of hearing, oh, it's not us. Oh, the Jamesburg potholes. That's not
Ms.
us.
Fagan, why don't you let him defer to that, please? You don't have to apologize. I realize you're very serious and concerned about this issue, but I would like you to get the whatever answers we have to give you this evening, please. Thank you. Again, the mics. I hate microphones.
You have to hold it down.
It's not on.
Hang on.
He just has to hold it down.
Does it work?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent questions, Ms. Fagan. What I can say from a utility standpoint, as well as from a planning and zoning standpoint, and looking at our processes, is that there are various departments within the township that are responsible for a variety of different inspections on each and every project. You have the fire department, you have the utility department, you have the engineering department, you have the construction officials that take over once the plans have been approved and looked at by the engineers. And I do know that BizRep warehouse, you brought that question up, and rightfully so, relative to that gas pipeline that is going through that property and quite frankly through most of the town. And those are things that are looked at very carefully, not only by our engineering department, but also by the professional engineers that actually are responsible for designing the project itself. Does it have a cause for concern? Ironically, I have a gas pipeline that runs right in behind my house as well. And when you see the yellow sign sticking up in the property, there is obviously some room for concern that anybody would have if they were not aware of the design protocols and the safety factors that are built into constructing and installing those particular pipelines. So I do know that the plans that were approved are being inspected by our construction department, and I have, as well as the entire council, the utmost confidence in them. They are professionals that know the construction subcodes, and they follow them, and they handle them very well. And from a utility standpoint, our inspectors also make sure that the water and sewer infrastructure that goes into these facilities are following the plans and guidelines that we go ahead and do. Relative to any of the other questions, I again sympathize, and if there is any specific issue or concern that you have, whether it be from an engineering perspective, a utility perspective, a planning and zoning perspective, a construction perspective, please, I have, my door is always open. I'd be more than happy to facilitate answering your questions or getting other individuals within the township involved so that we can get you the answers that you specifically need. Okay.
Okay, so I appreciate that, but that does not answer my question at all. My question is, if we are not following up on builders having signs everywhere, which is out for everyone to see,
Ms. Fagan.
how can I be sure that you are inspecting the
Ms. Fagan.
building on the gas line?
Ms. Fagan, I believe that Mr. Stroin said to you that the inspections are taking place. He also said he would meet with you if you wish to address and see. The inspections are occurring as they are supposed to occur. We do have records of inspections occurring, and that whether they and the results of those inspections. So therefore, if you wish to speak to Mr. Stroin, I would encourage you to do so.
I will.
Please do, and that way you can perhaps feel more assured that what he has said to you is the truth. We are following the inspection guidelines that we are required as a municipality to follow. No one is not inspecting this construction.
No one is inspecting the Monroe Park, or there wouldn't have been all those signs.
I am sorry that they had a plethora
No
of
one was
signs.
inspecting the venue because they had too many signs. So how can I trust the inspection process?
I am sorry that that is your conclusion. I can do nothing about that conclusion.
Yes, you can. You can email me back.
But say to you that you are, please contact Mr. Stroin. He will be pleased to meet with you and discuss it. My own personal situation within that first email, I clearly remember, and I remember where it was forwarded. I had personal issues of my own and was not necessarily answering my email. No one has deliberately chosen not to answer you. You have come to us tonight. We have attempted to answer you. You are choosing at this point to say that you have not an adequate amount of faith, for which I am sorry, but I would urge you to contact Mr. Stroin to meet with him, and perhaps you will feel more reassured. And I would hope that that occurs.
Okay, I ask that you email me his information.
I will be pleased to do that.
Because
I will
nobody did that.
I will be pleased to email you his information, and if you would like, if he has a card with him tonight, he can give it to you.
I will take it.
So, Mr. Stroin, do you have business cards with you tonight? And
I
to
do.
double check,
I do.
I will be pleased to send you that information.
I do want to let you know, this is not my first email. This is not my first
am aware.
time.
I am sorry that you are disappointed. We will do our best to address your concerns. And I thank you for your comments.
Not just my concerns. I'm sure I'm not the only resident who have emailed you this whole month that you did not discuss tonight.
Good night, and thank you
night.
for your comments. Anyone else wishing to address us? Thank you. Your name and address for the record, please, Mr. Gunkelman.
George Kunkelman, 5 Killicourt, Monroe. Fortunately, the men's game is until 9, so.
Oh, you have plenty of time then, George.
We got a grace period here. There are 2 items that I wanted to talk about. First one I mentioned earlier at an earlier meeting, and that has to do with the issue of flooding in Monroe, and not exclusive to Monroe. Clearly, we've seen some radical changes in climate that is impacting rainfall and severity of rainfall. It's not anything that's unique to Monroe by any circumstance, but we do have a need to address it. I mean, the township incurred great expense in trying to help people that were impacted by the flooding back in, it was September, I believe. And August, yeah.
It's in my brain.
Okay, I'm sure it is. But, you know, I think maybe it's a master plan issue, but I think by and large it goes to an even larger scale, and that's engineering standards. We always talked about 100-year storms, or at least we did in planning board meetings, not so much here, and 50-year storms. Obviously, we've got conditions that exceed that. And some of our design parameters that we allow developers to build to, or require them to build to, actually, are being exceeded by some of these storms. And the pattern seems to be that we should expect more. So I don't know where we have opportunities, if it's at League of Municipality meetings to say, you know, can we, at least on a larger countywide, statewide basis, begin to look at this and see what we need to do. On a local basis, which might have more to do with the master plan, I would like to at least see if someone could investigate our chances of expanding that lake that belongs to the Rossmore, that much of the industrial area drains into. That was the holding area. Now, we had an intervention there a few years ago to put in a pump station and things that both the county and the township participated in, and that in August wasn't enough. And there were some flaws in how that happened, but even if it had been done as per design, it appeared to the people who were looking at it that the flooding would have occurred anyway. And there were 2 areas of flooding in Rossmore in particular, and only one of them was impacted by that particular condition. But it's something we could look at because we have approved building after building and still approve from time to time an expansion in the industrial area, and that's where the water goes to. So there are limits in its capacity. I don't know if we could do something there, get the waivers to either increase its overall size or depth, something to be considered. The second issue that I wanted to talk about is Perineville Road. You can't go down Perineville Road from here to Route 33 without seeing damaged guardrail. Talking to a couple of police officers at the car wash a couple of weeks ago, they're there all the time with accidents on Perineville Road. The road is clearly stressed in its design capacity for the traffic that it has, and because it is so narrow, the impact of deer and other animals, there are a number of accidents. When you drive down there and you see a crushed guardrail, you know that there's an offset of somebody who suffered that accident. And talking to the police officers, there's a lot more than I realized. Apparently it's a real common occurrence. If we go back into the 80s and 90s, there was discussion here in Monroe about widening that road. For reasons of protecting wetlands, those considerations were set aside, and at great expense, the county put in sheeting and shoring.
Would you finish your sentence, please? Because your time is up, okay? Just finish your sentence, please. I know you dislike that, but please
All right,
finish your
It
sentence.
doesn't lend
Thank you.
itself to one sentence, but my 5 minutes went off a little bit after yours, so and it didn't say anything about finishing my sentence. I don't know. I would like us to look. You know, we have acquired since that time quite a bit of open space, some of which is partially wetlands, some of it abuts this area. Maybe we could trade off some wetlands, but I think it would be worth having some kind of a discussion with the county, whose road it is. It's a long sentence.
It's not that long a sentence, George.
Are you checking my timer, Mr. Gunkelman?
I thank you for
I was
those
trying to
comments.
warn myself to speed up.
That's okay.
Thank you, George.
Anyway, I think people know what I was trying to say.
Yes, I do.
One last thing
Oh,
to the
George,
council
don't do-
president, however, if people would go to COVID deaths in the U.S., it reminds us that it's not over.
That's why I said.
Our
it.
7-day average, I just looked before.
You're not
I
gonna
came
give up
here,
on this, are you?
645
I know. I read
a
the
day
data.
for a 7-day average. And we're now at 980,000 deaths.
You will
in the
allow me
US.
that
So
prerogative.
By summertime,
Yes.
we'll be hitting 1 million.
Let us hope.
That's scary.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council this evening, please? Hearing, seeing? No. No. May I, I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public comment, please.
So moved.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Nay. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting this evening, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
May I hear some ayes, please? Any nays? No. This meeting is adjourned at 8